We're back, boys
with and girls.
and girls.
With episode 8.
8, yeah.
So we're making our way up there.
Already 8, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure when we hit 50, it'll be like, oh, 50, but
Yeah.
8's good too.
8 is good. I like 8. Yeah, quite a bit to talk about this episode. A lot has happened in the last week.
Yeah.
Walter, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I had a pretty exceptional week.
Okay.
Nothing huge happened, but it's been kind of a return to form for me, I think.
Okay.
It's been nice seeing everyone again. I've been trying to work out more. I have a routine down where I work out before work,
That's good.
go to internship,
That's good.
come back home, help out around the house, and then have like 2 or 3 hours to myself.
Yeah.
And that like structure that I used to have swimming is really nice to have again. So
Yeah. I know having a routine, especially I think for majority of people is very nice.
yeah.
Speaking of routine, I'm in the game. We started our internship on the Monday.
Bang!
Yep. So
Bang!
one full week has gone through now. I've learned a lot already. Really exciting. Sleep schedule has been shifted like 3 hours.
Oh yeah. You know something?
What?
Today's a weekend, right?
Mhm.
And normally, I think like most kids, I would stay up late and kind of lose my edge on my sleep schedule throughout the week,
Yeah.
and then I'd sleep in till like 12 on Saturday.
Yeah.
I woke up at 7:30 today.
Really?
It felt great. I got a lot of stuff done today.
There you go. I did sleep in. I did not. I stayed up late last night. But tomorrow morning I'll probably get up early. I'll probably go to bed a little bit earlier tonight.
Yeah.
So then I'm ready for Monday.
Oh yeah.
Waking up at 4 a.m. It's pretty interesting. Waking up, I feel like I just went to sleep. I've been going to bed at like 8 or 9. I've been trying really hard to go to bed at 8 or 9. And then, yeah, just starting to feel what that's like. Waking up at 4, it's dark outside, no one else is awake. Come on, this can't. We're in the middle of the night, right? It's not morning time already, but it is. But I am getting a routine down. To my internship, I have to drive from my house. It is an hour and a half away, which is, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's up there.
Yeah, I ride with my uncle most days, but a lot of the times that he will not provide a ride, I'm driving myself the full hour and a half, which it's a lot of driving. And then an hour and a half on the way back home. So 3 hours a day. And in the total week, it is 15 hours spent in the car driving.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's like 2 full working days just about.
So what have you been doing in the car then?
Listening to podcasts, actually. Getting tips.
Yeah.
But I have been listening to, the one that I listen to most is just Ear Biscuits.
Yeah.
Rhett and Link.
Right.
Some of my favorite. But yeah, also just trying to learn more of like their format.
Mm-hmm.
But they also are very interesting.
Yeah.
They're a lot older, so they have a lot more stories and stuff. But I think it's interesting as stories come up, then it's like live. It's like, oh, this happened last weekend.
Yeah.
It's not like this happened back way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
It is cool.
I've been drilling in on the CDs and the music on my drive, and so far I have not got tired of it yet. But I just picked up from the library a audiobook in the form of CDs.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's Angels and Demons.
Okay.
Which I had watched the movie before. Very good movie. I would recommend. It has Tom Hanks and Ewan McGregor, 2 great actors. I love Ewan McGregor. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good movie, but I'd heard that the book was a lot better.
Okay.
So, I also heard that, or I remembered that libraries exist and they have a wealth of resources and old media.
Absolutely.
And when you're driving an older car that has only a CD 6-player, you know.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that you can get, like, I'm using the format as intended now,
Right.
you know.
Yes, that's
so
exactly.
I've yet to listen to it, but it's pretty cool having this, we'll call it archaic plastic box of CDs with a book inside.
Nice. How much have you listened to?
Not yet.
Okay.
None of it so far.
Come Monday, though.
Come Monday, yeah. I picked it up on Friday, yeah. So I haven't had a chance to drive my 45 minutes listening to it yet. But I'm excited.
That's good. That's good. That's exciting. Some new things. I just got a new laptop, a ThinkPad.
Yeah.
Like Walter.
Yep.
Mine is probably going to be very similar to yours, actually. It doesn't have the side number pad, a little bit smaller, but I got an amazing deal on it. It was like 70% off. So I ordered one of those for college coming up. And I ordered an iPad. I also just got an iPad. So that should be in a couple of days for drawing and doing other stuff like that. A little bit more compact. It's got a pencil with it.
Wow.
Apple Pencil. Yeah, it should be exciting. I'm very excited.
Can you draw? Oh, okay, I got you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's from my graduation party, my funds that people have given me, which I'm very grateful for because I've got like all this new tech now that I have not gotten like a new iPad in like 11 years.
Yeah.
And whenever I got that iPad, I was given it for Christmas from my neighbors.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was such a cool. And then after several years, it just gets old. And being able to get a new one it's amazing. So it's very useful. My party was really fun because I think last week when we recorded, my party was like the next day.
Yeah.
So had that. It was really fun.
Yeah, I was there.
I had a lot of people. Walter was there. That's right.
It's not often that I go back to like the playground and stuff like that. So it was really cool hanging out with like all of our friends and talking about stuff on the swing set, you know.
Yeah. A lot of family members there. I was happy so many people could make it. A lot of people from like a couple hours away even. So it was exciting. Yeah, really fun. I'm really excited for this new stuff to come in. The laptop should also be useful for, I don't know if I'm going to use it for my internship, but it's built for that kind of, I think. So yeah, I've been learning a lot in the last week that I've started. Met a lot of really amazing people there.
Yeah.
Starting to get into the groove. Doing some training things and doing drawings for parts and stuff.
Yeah, which is pretty fun.
It is fun. I enjoy it. Especially whenever I've been going to like meetings and stuff. It's really cool. It feels less like I'm like an internship kid and almost like I am like a part of the team.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
Okay.
I think the engineers I work with do a really good job of making me feel like important.
Yeah.
Maybe not important, but like
I've been able to actually see some of the parts that I've done drawings on, see them like in use.
And like they listen to my feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like I have a little bit of value to give with this problem or project, you know.
Which is good. So I was actually going to ask that. Is your internship, are you just like sitting and watching people do stuff and like I've
been very happy with how active I've been.
Okay.
I get to tour the plant floor and watch the machinery like firsthand.
Yeah.
Talk to the operators, get their feedback on what isn't working or what could be better.
Yeah.
And then I get to come back to my desk, have this whiteboard that I have loved using so far. The whiteboard's so nice to just lay out all my ideas and thoughts. I have a couple sketches on there of a couple of things I'm working on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's good. Do you have a computer and stuff?
I do, but I don't have any 3D modeling
Okay.
at my disposal. Right now, my job doesn't necessitate that.
Right.
But yeah, the drawings that Logan is doing, I did a lot in college, and it was just fun, man.
Yeah.
I
enjoy it.
It's like it seems technical at first glance, but the software has been updated so much,
Mhm.
and it's so easy to use now,
Yeah.
where you can have really well articulated designs and concepts on this printout that the computer gives you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun to make.
Yeah. Really, really fun. I definitely recommend if anyone out there wants to dig into that, you definitely should, because it's enjoyable. Even just for like a personal, you have ideas and you want to mess around with stuff. It's kind of fun to feel like, oh man, I just
sure.
made that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I enjoy it.
If you get really good at it, then you can post your 3D models on online forums like Thingiverse.
Yeah.
And
then they can be 3D printed by everyone.
Yeah. It's a great way to jumpstart your learning experience, you know.
Yeah.
Because you'll either kind of, well, no matter what, you'll realize that there are a lot of amazing artists and designers out there.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to rise to the challenge, then you can definitely learn from all those people and what they create. Tons of tutorials on YouTube, tons of resources online.
Yeah.
And it's a good skill to have.
Yeah, it is. I've really enjoyed what I'm doing, because I should get pretty good at it. Doing it every day for like hours.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's the best way to get better at anything.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
If you want to do something, like repetition, man.
Yeah.
You gotta practice.
Absolutely. My first 2 years of high school, we were using very similar applications and stuff. So getting familiar with that, I thought that was really fun. And then junior year and senior year were a little bit different. We didn't use it as much. They were a little bit more like specialized classes. So to be able to go back to what I was learning a couple of years ago that I enjoyed is really nice. It's refreshing. Get back into the swing of things and learn a lot more that I never knew about the programs and stuff. Really exciting, and I think it should help in college. I don't know what classes I'm going to be taking right off the bat that are going to be asking for that, but I really hope I can go back next year too, because so far I've really enjoyed it. The schedule's really fun. The group is really fun. I know there are a lot of internships out there that are a lot of just like sit and watch, and then just sit there and watch.
Which, I mean, that has its own merit too.
Right. But I think you learn so much more being hands-on, and especially I think it's so much more welcoming to be able to feel like you're part of the team.
Yeah. Last Friday, my mentor basically threw me into the fire and said, like, I'm going to put you in charge of this project. And, like, of course you can talk to me, but, like, it's your thing.
Okay.
So, like, you need to figure this out.
Yeah.
And honestly, the hard part was just communicating with people.
Okay.
And lining up my schedule and tests I want to do with their schedule. And I was stressed out. Like, it was hard. Because I didn't know. I didn't want to, as a measly intern, I didn't feel comfortable telling someone to do something for me.
Right.
You know? But like 90% of the time, that's what they need, you know?
Yeah.
When everything moves so fast, they don't need you to be like, hey, can you do this? What's your opinion? Oftentimes they just want to know, okay, this guy wants me to do this, I'll do it, and that's my job. Like, it's my job to do this, right?
Yeah.
So
okay, so
getting more comfortable with that aspect of the job.
Were they like playing a part? Like, this guy's an intern and this is what we're doing to show him, or were they like,
nope,
like, this is who's in charge right now and this is what we need to do?
My internship is my mentor's responsibility and his responsibility alone.
Okay.
So
wow.
Yeah. So my department, the process engineering side, has a test they want to run to make sure everything's running smoothly, right?
Yeah.
And the people on the floor, the big grizzled traditional workers, you know,
Yeah.
I like, they could break me in half, you know. They know the process way better than me.
Yeah.
So it was weird telling them about what I need to have done, but they were super helpful, very respectful people. Every time I had a conversation with them, I left feeling at ease, you know. And any questions I had, they were like, "Oh yeah, I know what you want." Like, "Oh yeah, I can do that, sure."
Yeah.
Because there's protocols and stuff like that. There's a lot of safeguards in every company, I think.
Right.
In corporate America, like that's why there's so much red tape sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
It's just that it simplifies the process and
right.
And people know what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit different where I work. A lot of them know that like I'm an intern and I don't know, just starting out, learning stuff. Someone who is very young is kind of teaching me right now. He's incredibly smart.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah, like really good. And any questions I have, I'm mostly reporting to him, asking him. I can ask anybody and they'll help me, but I'm mostly reporting to him. He's giving me stuff that he needs done, and I'm doing that. And the past week, we actually got like a side project. Like it was for something in the shop. It wasn't like for a main project. And I was kind of more in charge of like making these models, making the drawings, and then printing them off, showing him. They didn't quite work out, or they wanted to do something different, so then they bring it back to me with like markups and stuff, things that they want to change. So then I'm going back and editing, and you know, that kind of back and forth has been really, really cool, and it's been really fun to be like in almost like that, like I'm kind of in charge of this little. It makes you feel like you know, you're good enough that you can do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been great. It's been fun so far, and it's been a really good learning opportunity. And I think more companies should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a good sign of a stable company, or maybe a company that has their head in the right place, is one that offers an internship program.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you really lay it all out, they probably lose some money on the interns, right?
Probably.
Even with the reduced pay, typically.
Yeah.
A lot of interns do just like sit around waiting for the next thing to do.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's kind of how it has to work.
Right.
So if a company is earnest about teaching a batch of interns how the process works and how their their first experience in working America, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty. Yeah.
It means they value like getting people invested.
Yeah.
Learning
absolutely.
Learning everything they need to be a better employee, and honestly a better person. Because when you start working with a team in a job setting, sports is a great way to like work in a team as well. But a job, it's like, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because
it's like this is a team of people, and like we're actually having like projects and real world stuff that's going out.
And the metric of success is no longer, are we going to win this meet or this game or the season?
Yeah.
It's, are we going to keep our jobs?
Yes.
That's like the bottom line, right?
Right.
Like, which is a good motivator, you know? I know, what's the brother of the Crash Course? Hank Green. Hank Green is the CEO, or maybe he might have stepped down. But he was talking about during his time as CEO, and it's a transition a lot of content creators go through, where all of a sudden it's not just two people having fun, you know, maybe making some side cash. It's like, this is a business, and I have to keep it afloat for my employees. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
I can't I have to keep them protected so they have job security and they aren't screwed over by a bonehead move I make, you know?
Yeah.
It's a very interesting dynamic. Because a lot of times I think these content creators never maybe intended for it to go that far.
Yeah.
But it did, and good for them. But like now they got to put on the CEO hat and like, look at the business of the company.
Yeah, that's very true.
You listen to podcasts a lot in the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of the Colin and Samir podcast?
I have not.
Would highly recommend.
Okay.
They kind of talk about what I just did a lot, except even more in depth. They talk about like all the economic buzzwords, like I believe one of them was OEE, the operative equipment outcome.
Okay.
Something like that. But it's like all these metrics of success, like, okay, these are numbers based on last year and based on the current economy and based on your competition, you know, and these analytics from this video did really well, and here's why. And they break it down really well.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Huh. Very interesting. I, kind of more on that note, I actually just listened to one of the episodes in my hour and a half trike up there.
Yeah?
Or I guess down, but I was listening to Ear Biscuits, and they kind of went in detail of like the more business side of their podcast, like having, you know, that role and being in meeting rooms, and, you know, they were really focusing on like the hardships of having rough conversations with their group or with business partners or like third party members. Sometimes they, you know, don't say things that they should have said, or it comes out wrong, and then there's an argument, and, you know, how much they absolutely hate that.
Mm-hmm.
And then in a few hours, like, they have to go out and they have to record. So they've explained that they've gotten good at being able to kind of like get out of that, you know, like kind of shake it off and put on a different face, because you can either do that, or they mentioned some content creators, they won't record for the day.
Yeah.
They won't make content. If they're having a bad day, they won't record. GMM and the whole mythical team, they do it a little bit differently. They, you know, and they're good at that. So if you're not good at that, then I don't know, maybe don't make content for the day.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting with them being able to, because what we see is, you know, these two guys are having a great time up on camera or on a podcast. They're talking. They sound like they're having a great time. There's sometimes interaction from the other team, which makes it even more fun. But what we don't see is it's just a lot more behind the stage of setting up, and there's a lot that goes into it that sometimes you don't even think about.
The desk job aspects, or the routine, setup and tear down. Yeah.
So instead of like them just, they're in charge of this, they made it a long time ago, and they just kind of, you know, they record, it looks like they're having a great time, but there is a lot of like actual business behind it. Whenever they're, you know, the camera's shut off, there's actual work that has to be done a lot of the time, and a lot of their team is like just constantly, I don't know, it's really cool. Yeah. There's a whole team dynamic. People are actually working to try to keep everything afloat.
Right.
But yeah, they just emphasized on like the hardships of having to like have poor conversations with people, or sometimes even like firing people, and how much they absolutely hate that, which is something I can't really imagine right now.
Yeah.
But
I think therein lies the interesting dynamic that we have together when we try to do something like this, or this podcast, where we have a unique perspective.
Yeah.
We're kind of like a mouthpiece, I think, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, we're kind of like a mouthpiece for other people like us, like our age, maybe our limited view of how a company or business runs, you know?
Yeah.
So all we can really do is speculate and take their word for it, you know?
Right.
But as of right now, we're in that phase they were in years ago.
Exactly.
So
that's why I like this podcast so much.
It's like that also is pretty new, you know?
Yeah.
We're kind of, maybe not the first generation, but a pretty early generation in time where, how do I want to say this? Rhett and Link started out at the dawn of YouTube and the internet, right?
Yeah.
So they were the first ones to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Us, we have them as reference.
Yep.
And so we're going at it with like...
We have almost like prior knowledge.
Yeah. And we are the first generation who has prior knowledge.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting spot we're in.
Yeah.
You know?
It is.
Because while this has been done many times before, it's still pretty early on in the scope of how long podcasts have been a thing.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
And I don't know many that are... I know several podcasts where they are, and of course I have not like just like went through like a list and seen them all, but some of them that I do know, they are in their 20s or, you know, like early 20s, mid 20s, and that's like the earliest that I've seen.
Yeah.
I haven't seen some where they are like right out of high school trying to do this thing, which like for Rhett and Link, for example, like they probably started around this age, maybe a little bit older.
Yeah. But no one really knew about it.
Yeah.
So there are some parallels then, because when we first started this in the first episode, I think we talked about our expectations and like, oh, this is fun, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I think that's a really genuine reason to start something, a project like this, right?
Absolutely.
But we're just kind of finding like, okay, maybe that's why you don't really see this that often, or it's not that popular online, because you need that time and that life experience to start having those crazy stories that everyone loves to hear.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
At the very least, I think this whole experiment we're doing has like taught me how to like speak better.
I absolutely
so.
agree. If I go back to like episode 1 or 2, and that was episode 2 was months ago, and like 6 months ago or less. It was like,
I don't think of episode 2 in like terms of normal time units.
Yeah.
I think of it as like a different era.
It was absolutely. It was that. So we're in the 6th month right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had just finished swim during episode 2, which was in like February. So that was like 4 months ago. And if you've listened to that, how rough that one is around the edges.
Yeah.
But that feels so long ago. The past several episodes, I feel like, have just been significantly better. Which, funnily enough, like episode 1 and 2 have like the most listens people have heard, which is cool. At the same time, like if you're not coming back, it's sad because that's what your first impression of us was.
Right, yeah.
And now we're like, I don't know, I'm much more comfortable speaking. I think we have more of a rhythm going.
Yeah.
We have interesting stories to tell. Mic setup is much better.
Yeah.
So our equipment is better. We have more knowledge on it. There's a lot that goes into it. And we've learned all of that within like months.
Yeah.
And like Rhett and Link have like years.
Yeah, it's gone pretty fast.
Yeah.
And it's been fun.
It has been fun. It's been,
I feel like now we're talking as though we hit episode 100.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's good to reflect on the good things, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you had a story you wanted to tell.
Yeah. Speaking of good things, I was working out today at the Y, and I met some friends again from college. I was happy to see. and I'm walking to go back to the locker room, and I see a girl I know from high school, and like make eye contact, and I was gonna wave, and her eyes just go like wide as like dinner plates, and it goes like, and I'm like, what's going on? And she turns her phone, and on the screen is our podcasts.
Really?
Yeah, she was listening to Inactive Listening.
No way.
Oh yeah.
And she
and
in person saw a popular celebrity.
Yeah. And I was like so flattered. She said she was listening to it during her workouts this morning, and like she's been listening to it the whole day.
That's awesome.
And I was like, wow, that is so cool.
That is so cool. Yeah,
and we talked about it. She said, yeah, it's been fun, you know. She didn't have any like it was a quick exchange. We didn't really talk too in depth, but I was really happy that
that's insane.
I had
that wasn't like she walked up to Walter and she was like, "Oh, I have been listening to it." It was like,
yeah,
oh, I'm actually currently listening to it on my own time,
yeah.
not knowing that I would see you.
Yeah,
that is so cool. Especially, was she leaving like?
I think she was waiting for her friend.
Did she? So she had finished, or she was about to start?
I don't know. Probably about to start.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't listen to podcasts when I work out. So it's like another level of dedication.
I listen to the gym music come from the speakers, which also is kind of crazy to some people.
You're old school.
Yeah, I'm old school. But so I left the Y. I was like beaming on my way outside. Blasted the car radio. Listened to some Dave Matthews Band. Oh, I love Dave Matthews Band.
Okay, if you're listening to this, you know who you are.
Yeah, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. You've given us something to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool, dude. Yeah, that's awesome. That's very interesting. But yeah, I have talked to a few people. Just what they've thought. I know people who have been listening to it. They've been keeping up. They've been staying up to date.
Yeah.
There's some that have not. Some of our friends, they're like, I haven't listened to it since episode 2. Perfectly fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But you should give the latest and greatest a listen.
I think so.
Because I think it's a lot better.
And we're always looking for feedback too.
Absolutely. If this is horrible,
if
this is a terrible, please let us know.
And like, don't hold back. If it actually sucks, like, lay into it. Because then we're not gonna. That's how you learn, right?
I don't want to be on episode 100 and he's like, yeah, your guys' podcast sucked from the beginning and it still does.
Yeah, you guys always do this one thing and you haven't stopped. Well, that's great.
Yeah. Please tell us.
Please tell us. It'd make our jobs a lot easier. And also, if you are planning on listening to more, it'd make your job a lot easier too, because you can. Yeah.
You can sit back and relax.
Sit back and relax. Like, oh God, they're talking about that thing again, or they're.
Yeah.
There's I don't know. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about. We talk about college a lot, and that's kind of where we're at in life. But in next episodes, I definitely want to. Which we're not going to have a lot to talk about college anyway right now.
Right.
Because we're kind of in the mid area, but.
We're in the High School Musical 2 part of our lives.
I've never watched it.
Okay.
But I'll laugh.
High School Musical 1 is the junior of high school. 3 is their senior year. And 2 is the summer between junior and senior year.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a very
weird
layout.
They all have their summer jobs and they're all...
Okay. You're a big High School Musical fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've seen them a dozen times.
Wow.
They're one of the best... I'm not going to... Okay, that's crazy. They're fun. Okay. And also really relatable, I think.
Okay. In, like, high school?
Yeah, even now. I think they came out, I'll say early 2000s, you know?
Yeah, they didn't.
But maybe like super early 2010s. But even now, they're super relatable. There's so many different things that I heard in those.
Is it a musical?
Yeah.
So they sing and stuff?
Yep. Disney Channel movies.
Okay.
The third one was actually... like Hollywood produced. The first 2 were like Disney Channel originals that aired on the Disney Channel, and the third one was in theaters. And you can tell, like, the budget was crazy. From the first scene in High School Musical 3, it's like, wow, there's a lot more money in here. The camera quality is a lot better. The sets are a lot better. And the whole, really, that was good. Yeah. Because it makes a lot of people I know cry. Because it's about, like, oh, they're moving on to the next stage of their life, you know? Saying bye to all their friends. Stuff that we went through before.
So, let us know if we made you cry listening to this podcast, talking about us leaving high school.
Not the musical.
Yeah, not the musical. Okay, I guess I have something that happened yesterday. In the evening, me and some of my friends went to youth group, and it's like half an hour away. Church I don't go to. They go there to do sound stuff and like light work, like light.
Oh, cool! Really?
Yeah. I'm not really allowed back there because I did go back there and talk to them and stuff, but I'm not. You're supposed to sign up, and we don't really need 50 people back there when there's like 15 people at the youth group. Anyway, we were leaving, and so there was 3 of them, and there's one of me, right? They're all riding together in a car. So then they pull out of the parking lot, and then so do I. I'm behind them, and we have 30 minutes. We have 30 minutes to race back home. So, like, probably 10 minutes on the way, they're like opening the back doors and like waving their hands out and stuff, and yeah, just being silly little dudes.
Just shenanigans.
Yep, exactly. So then their car is a bit smaller than mine, a little bit older. So I find an opportunity because the one driving, he's been driving for a little while. A lot more cautious of a driver, as you typically are when you first get your driver's license.
Yeah.
He's going like 10 under the speed limit. I don't know if it's intentional or if it's, I don't know. At some point, though, I'm able to pass him. So I like race around him and I pass him. And then we're driving, we're going on. We get to like an intersection, and I'm like, yeah, it's like, it's got like flashing red lights because everyone has a stop sign, but it's not like a true intersection where there's like a green light and a yellow light.
Right.
Like just a red light to flash to tell you to stop. So it's my turn to turn. So I'm turning, and I'm intentionally going like 10 miles an hour. The speed limit's like 35 or 45 or something like that. So I'm really just crawling through the intersection. And then I get to the open road, and I'm like slightly going faster. And then I see he's trying to pass me. So then completely reckless, by the way. Do not recommend. Don't do this. There was not very many cars around. So he's trying to pass me, and then I'm not going to let that happen. So he can't pass me. It's kind of funny. But, and then, yeah, there's just a lot of times I'm like increasing the distance that we're getting farther. There's like a big dump truck right behind, and he's like keeping pace with their car because they're driving pretty slow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting. It was a fun little. Not very often that I'm racing around.
Yeah.
Playing around with the cars.
Yeah.
But on the way, I'm a big car enthusiast. I actually just came from a Cars and Coffee. It's at someone's house. People brought old cars, and there was coffee set up, and looked around and talked and stuff. It was really cool. But passing us, I was in front, was a DeLorean.
Really?
Yes. Which was
no time machine attached?
No. I can't tell. Because it's like, you'd probably have to like look inside and
That's
stuff.
That's true, yeah.
I see it coming, like, which is crazy because he's like driving out of the sunset. I'm driving like into the sunset. I see this car. I'm like, man, that's a cool looking car right there. You can tell whenever a car is older than the modern plastic on wheels, if you will.
Right.
But I see it, and I'm like, that is it. And then as it gets closer, I'm like, dude, that is a DeLorean. That is so cool. I've never seen one like driving before.
Yeah, I've seen one in a museum.
Yes.
But never like on the road.
That's like a $1.5 million car.
I've seen
Maybe
like cars from the 1940s.
Yeah.
And Mustangs and muscle cars and
there's not that many DeLoreans.
I've even seen some supercars, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, a DeLorean. That's pretty crazy.
That is. Man, I'll have one day.
A DeLorean?
Yes.
I think it's an ugly car.
Really?
Yeah.
Stainless steel. Did you know that they made a gold plated one?
Of course they did.
There was only like less than 5. They made like 2, and then I think 2 people ordered them. Really expensive car, like really expensive, but also really heavy. I think there's one in a museum. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean that's just museum fodder, you know.
Right.
Like that's what it was designed for, that kind of thing.
Probably, but yeah, that was really cool to be able to see the DeLorean. You're supposed to wash it with gasoline. Did you know that?
No, why?
Because it's stainless steel. That's how you're supposed to. You can wash it with. I think that even might say it in the manual. There's different stuff that you can wash stainless steel with, but they say you should wash it with gasoline.
Just like wealth in excess.
Yeah, I know.
Of like
right now, sorry.
Imagine washing a car with gas.
Well, I think one wash is probably worth more than the car. With the gas prices.
That's so crazy.
I'm just kidding. It's probably not, but yeah.
It's a lot though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been doing anything fun after work?
Not really. Been coming home, so driving home, hour and a half, and I gain an hour on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
So I leave at 3 or 3:30, and then get home at like 4, which is kind of nice. I don't know. There's not, because I'm going to bed at 8. I have like 4 or 5 hours to do whatever. So instead of like waking up at 7:30 and then getting ready and going to school and then getting out of school at 3 and then
going to practice.
Even, yeah, having practice and stuff, getting home at like 6, we'll say. You know, I used to stay up like till 11 or midnight every night.
Same.
Go to sleep, 7 hours of sleep. I felt kind of tired, and then I go to school. This is way different. It's like I get home, and then if my dad needs help with stuff or there's stuff that needs to be done, like very adamant about time, because I have limited time until I need to be in bed. The first night, like the last Sunday night, went to bed at like 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible. It was rough.
Yeah.
Woke up at 4:30, took a really quick shower, and then I was very tired.
Like that level of brain fog follows you until like lunchtime.
Like having a headache.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough. I'm yawning like all day
long.
Oh
yeah.
It's bad.
Swimmers know a lot about yawning, I feel like. On deck at meets, they're always yawning.
Because for me at least, I'm either sitting there like pacing because I'm so nervous. I'm about to swim one of the first few events.
Yep.
Or I'm just like,
or
after, if I finish swimming and I come back, oh man, it feels good.
Yep. And then you don't move for like.
Sit on my phone.
At some points, like 2 hours at a time.
Yeah.
And of course you start yawning then, you know?
Yeah.
It's so important to stay warm on deck.
It is. Yes, and right after you get out, you know, you're tired or whatever, but like you sit for a little while like that, and you're cold. Especially right after like we do a warm up.
Yeah.
You're all nice and warm in your parka.
Yep.
Then you jump in and man, is it cold.
Yep.
But then I go home and get a nice hot meal.
Possibly. A nice substantial meal.
Possibly take a shower.
That's from NF Doom.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
It was just a random old man. Sorry. Continue. Hot shower.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah. MF Doom, listen to him.
Really good.
Really good.
After...
What do you do after work?
I've been listening to...
Inactive listening.
Let me take that back.
Oh.
I've been watching Fantasia.
Interesting. I don't know if I'm familiar.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Fantasia is a film made by Disney in 1940. And the most famous image from that movie is Mickey in a red robe with a wizard's hat.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a scene from the film. And as a kid, that's all I ever knew about it. As I got older, I found more out. It's a collection of short stories set to classical music. So there are no words or even sound effects. It's just the
interesting.
The cartoons are in sync with like the beat of the song.
Okay.
The rhythms and melodies. And for me, honestly, that's good enough, right? It's been on my list for a while, so I started watching it. It's 2 hours long. It's a pretty long movie. So I was like, okay, if it's a collection of like classical pieces, I'll do one at a time, you know?
Yeah.
So roughly like 15 minutes. So for 15 minutes a night, I've been turning my brain off of everything else and just focusing on the music, right?
Okay.
I think if anybody wants to watch this movie, they should not think of it as a movie. They should think of it as a concert. And Fantasia says that in the opening. In the opening minutes, the orchestra walks out on stage. The MC, he has a name, but like the narrator says like, this is a collection of songs, blah blah blah, to images to music, and we hope you enjoy. And
have you been enjoying?
I have been enjoying so much. So far, I've only seen the first three. The third one being the Mickey Mouse one.
Okay.
And my favorite one is number one. I think that's a hot take. The number one is a lot more abstract. Okay. There are no characters in number one. It's like shapes and sound waves. And
is it similar to Walter and I watched it last week right after recording Double King? Amazing YouTube video. No, it's not. Okay. Honestly, I don't think it'd be too far off base if you linked it to Baby Driver. It's kind of the same idea, right? Okay. My whole life, every gym class, every year, I'd watch Remember the Titans, and the gym teacher would always say, Remember the Titans.
This is the best football movie I've ever seen. Yeah. You should watch it. Yeah. And I would then proceed to watch it and hate it. I thought it was so boring and didn't make any sense. It wasn't about football. And it wasn't until my sophomore year of high school where my history teacher at the end of the year said, we're going to watch Remember the Titans. It is one of the best tales of segregation and discrimination in America put to film. And I was kind of floored. I was like, what? Remember the Titans? Are you kidding? And I was so intrigued. Like I focused up. I watched it again. I really gave it a chance. And he's right. I love Remember the Titans. He's right. It's about racism. One of the
greatest football films.
It's not though. Like football is the vessel for the story. Right. But when it's under the lens of social unrest, it's like it becomes a lot better because there's a lot more to say about it. Right. Calling it a simple football movie does it such a disservice. And that's what it's like with Fantasia. If you go in expecting to see like a movie, you're going to be so disappointed. Yeah. Because it's going to be so boring. Because all it is I think it's like 6 or 7 classical pieces with cartoons dancing around. That is all it is, right? Yeah. But because the focus isn't the movie, it's the music. The music's not there to make the moving pictures better. It's the other way around. Okay. What you see on screen is supposed to make your listening experience better. So if you think of it as a concert, then it becomes a lot better. And that's the way I look at it. And I've been thoroughly invested in everything that's going on.
So before bed, are you like giddy? Are you like?
Well, yeah, I've been excited. I've started my day. Well, I'm not that excited, but like at lunchtime, I realize, okay, 4 more hours, and then I can go watch Fantasia.
Really?
Yeah, it's really fun. They
Okay,
made a sequel.
You don't have to like. You can watch. You could
No,
pull your phone out and watch it right there.
no,
No. Okay.
that's not good workplace practice. But also, it's if we're talking about routine, it's good to have that thing come home to every night.
So I agree. What's gonna happen at episode 6 or 7, and the next day rolls around, no more Fantasia. You watched it all. Devastation, perhaps.
So, Walt Disney made Fantasia 2000, released in the year 2000, as a sequel to Fantasia. And from everything I've heard, it's not that good, which is a real shame. I might give it a shot. It's a lot shorter. I think it's only like an hour and 5 minutes as opposed to 2 hours. But,
maybe you just start diving.
All good art has to end.
Right.
Like The Simpsons, I think, definitely had a golden age, and now it should probably end. 30 plus seasons is a lot, and I think they've milked it dry. And now, like, the image of The Simpsons is kind of tarnished by its bulk of bad episodes recently. Over the past couple of years.
I don't watch them, so whenever I see clips of The Simpsons or episodes, I'll sit and watch. Yeah, this is funny. This is cool.
I believe season 1 through 8 is the golden age.
Okay.
But I laughed a lot up until like 15.
Did you like?
I noticed it. Like after 15, I was like, okay, these past like 3 episodes have been really bad.
Did you continue?
No.
Maybe it's just a bad few episodes.
No,
Maybe
it's
just
not.
a rough patch.
It's not. I got all the way to like 16.
What about
the end of 16?
King of the Hill?
I've never seen King of the Hill.
Really good. I definitely recommend it.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. Smarter.
Really?
I never really watched The Simpsons or Family Guy. They're entertainment, but it's almost just like, yeah, there's a story behind this episode, and it's like a cartoon.
Yeah.
King of the Hill is, I don't know, still like a cartoon, but it wasn't like characters like falling down the stairs in a comedic way. It was like, I don't know, one of them has diabetes and is about to lose his legs. So then he is so upset that he's about to lose his legs, and then he has to drive around in his wheelchair, and then he joins a club where it's a bunch of like paraplegics, and they play basketball and stuff, and it's like, it's rough, and he really enjoys it, and he finds great pride in it. Now I think his name's Brian. I don't watch King of the Hill, so I don't remember I know some of them.
So is it a comedy show?
Probably not. There are funny parts, and like, I don't know. If I want something funny, some comedians are funny, and then I'll watch some of the YouTubers that I watch. They're funny. The content that they make, the personality, it's funny, so I enjoy it. But no, I don't go home and watch King of the Hill that often, and I don't watch The Simpsons or Family Guy. But it was like of that era of cartoons, I guess. They're more focused towards adults. And then there's like Adult Swim. Did you ever watch any of that?
Not live, but I watched Smiling Friends.
Okay.
And I've seen Robot Chicken before. That's it.
Pretty inappropriate, I think.
Really?
I think. I don't know. I didn't listen.
No, it definitely is.
Because it was like...
It's the kind of thing that like my mom would turn off TV before.
We would watch... Exactly. We would watch King of the Hill. I'd watch it with my dad. Man, I get to stay up till 9. This is so cool. Watch an episode of King of the Hill. Like, man, that was a... And then you're watching Adult Swim, and that's bedtime. I'm like, no! And then he'd shut the TV off.
That's bedtime.
And even like whenever I'd be by myself, and it's like 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock or whenever it would come on, and then I probably shouldn't watch that. And then I'd change the channel, and I'd watch Boomerang. Like, Dexter's Laboratory. Yes! Did you watch any cartoons?
I was not a Boomerang guy.
Really?
No.
Are you a Cartoon Network fan?
Kind of. I watched a lot of.
Did you watch PBS Kids? Channel 11?
Kind of. Do you know what Cubo is?
I don't know.
I watched a lot of Cubo. I don't know if anyone listening knows what Cubo is. Good for you. It's like it's a kind of off-brand kids network. But the cool thing about Cubo is that instead of like at 10 o'clock, the program switches to adult content. It goes to Cubo Night Owl, and it would play old 80s and 90s cartoons.
Oh.
So.
Okay, that's like what Boomerang was though all the time.
So I would watch like. There's a show called Where's Blue.
Okay.
Very young children audience. You play hide and seek on TV.
And you would watch this at what age?
Like 6 or 7.
Oh.
And then on the few nights I stay up late enough, like He-Man and She-Ra.
Okay.
And Brave Star would come on.
There you go.
And it's like the old cartoons that, as a kid, just thought looked really weird. Didn't really understand what was going on at all. But I liked watching it.
Interesting. One of our friends, he watched, what was it? Like kind of a different group. I think it was through Cartoon Network. He had, because he said his grandparents had it on Hulu. It was, what's it? I'm not going to be able to remember it. Something with a box. Something but box. I wish I could find it. I might try to find it right now, actually, because it's going to bother me.
Like a physical box?
Like the title was... not Cartoon Box. It was like... It's not Jackbox, right? Because, I think it was Crash Box. Yeah, it was Crash Box. 1999. It was titled as a game show. It had 2 seasons. Really weird artwork style. It was like almost like paper mache.
Yeah.
If you watch some of the episodes though, like there's so much. It's like the beginning of like brain rot and ADHD. Of like this guy's telling you that it's like a news reporter is telling you stuff, and there's like planes going across the screen, and there's like different characters like popping their head in and like dancing around, and then like there's so much. And he was like, this is a really good episode. And I'm like, dude, I'm like being torn every which way. I can't even focus on what she's saying because there's like a big old blimp going across the screen covering her face.
For all the listeners, it looks like puppets.
Yeah.
Almost like paper mache puppets and arts and crafts, like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did see a little bit of that, and I forgot the name of it until somewhat recently. Him and I talked about it, but yeah, I didn't. I was much more of the Boomerang. I would watch Boomerang at my grandparents' house, and then I would watch it at my mom's house. Like Uncle Grandpa.
Okay.
That was not bad. It was not bad, and it had a short run. Walter really liked Annoying Orange.
No, I did not. Although I was more of a YouTube child.
I didn't. I watched like Stampy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we talked about before.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a ton though, because I didn't have a phone, which I'm sure you didn't either.
Yeah.
When we were young, so cartoons were the way to go. Tom and Jerry.
Looney Tunes.
Yep.
Yeah.
The good stuff. But let us know what you listen to.
Okay, guys. I think that's been another good episode there.
And if not, let us know.
Oh, and let us know if it's not that good, by the way, guys. Oh, yeah. And also let us know if it's good.
Just let us know.
Let us know.
Let us know anything.
Yeah, because before we go, we want you to let us know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you made it this far,
let us know.
Let us know. We might try to change the artwork. I'm working on that. Gonna make for a new era.
Yeah. But just let us know.
Let us know if you like this one or if you don't.
Yeah. Just let us know.
Because nobody lets us know. Very few. I don't think I've shown you. There's been a few Q&A responses. And half of it is my mother. So just let us know. Let us know what you think about that.
But let us know. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next episode.